Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Hope you guys are doing okay. Like I said in my last video, I'm not at home right now. I'm in the mountains, basically resetting the old brain box a little bit because I've just been mega burned out recently, and yeah, I mean, there's a whole video on it. You can watch it if you need to. However, in the video, I said that I'd be posting 1 or 2 last vids to essentially tide me over and just carry me over the gap while I am away, and I'm really happy to say that Acer Predator, who I've worked with a few times in the last month or two, basically came to me and said, hey Milo, we want to support you on this journey, and so we're going to send you a laptop, another one, for you to check out and bring with you on the trip. So this right here is the Acer Predator Helios 300. I've been using it basically for everything I've needed while I've been away, and the thing that I guess is worth spotlighting in this video is that alongside it being really powerful, you've got a 9th gen i7 Intel CPU, you've got a Turing architecture, NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPU, so you've got ray tracing and stuff as well, obviously. Alongside all of that stuff, nice cooling stuff in there as well, I'll talk about that in another video. It's also really portable. I mean, laptops obviously are meant to be portable, but this thing has been in my bag on the ski slopes. I mean, if you want to play Modern Warfare on a chair, then this is the laptop you want to do it with. So Acer Predator, thank you so much for sending me the laptop. If you guys want to check it out and show Acer some love as well, then in the description down below there'll be a link to a store that you can check it out on and read up some more details. So thanks once again to them. The topic of today's video is sort of related to the fact that I'm here actually. We're basically going to be talking about the question of whether or not DLC5, whether that would be a Zombies Chronicles 2 or something else, would actually be a good idea, or would it do more harm to the zombies community than we all might expect? The reason I've been thinking about this a lot recently is that, obviously, like I said in my last video, I've been burnt out, right? I've been just completely overburdened with work, or I've overburdened myself, and it's got me thinking about the nature of the kind of ebb and flow of releases of content that we get for zombies. So you think about the last 5 years or so, we've had zombies every single year, right? And this year is our first time where Modern Warfare has basically kicked zombies out of the spotlight and gone, you know what? Infinite Warfare Zombies was fun and it was different and there were some really cool ideas explored, but we're just going to go back to Spec Ops, make it a bit more of a normal Call of Duty and give the zombies guys a bit of a rest. And I think that that's really good. It's the sort of decision that at face value might seem like, oh, they've let down the zombies community, or they've kind of turned their backs on us, or they don't think that it's worth pursuing anymore, or all these sorts of things. You might have those initial reactions, but then when you think about it, it's like, okay, for the last 5 years, every October, November time, we've had a map or a few maps come out, and it's been this crazy rush to get Easter eggs solved and get high rounds and all the normal things that zombies players do. And then, in January or February, it's been another massive rush. And then a couple months later, another massive rush with every single DLC. And you've had this constant cycle. Like, we talk about the cycle in the story of zombies, but we've had a cycle of our own where every couple of months there's been this new thing, this new piece of content that is meant to be different to the last one. More often than not, it isn't really. It's kind of more of the same because there's only so much they can do with the formula they've got right now. And after 5 or 6 years of that being every year, I think it gets a bit sort of tiresome. I think that people that love zombies, like myself and like you guys, I'm sure as well, sort of get fatigued. And it's something that I talked about a little bit way back in the day when they first announced that there was going to be a 3-year dev cycle instead of a 2-year dev cycle. So that's when they brought in Sledgehammer Games as an actual independent studio rather than just supporting Infinity Ward. And they basically said, yeah, Treyarch COD's only going to be every 3 years now, and so at the time we all assumed that meant that we'd get no zombies until the next Treyarch COD in 3 years' time. And I talked about it then, the idea that zombies fatigue being mitigated is a really powerful idea and powerful thing for Treyarch and Activision to kind of to make use of when they're planning out their content strategy for all these games. And so that's all well and good as a concept, but this year though, things are different. Like I said, Modern Warfare, no zombies, so in theory, we should be getting our break. We should be getting a little bit of rest before the onslaught of zombies that undoubtedly will be coming next year. Now, the reason that there's undoubtedly going to be loads of stuff next year is because Treyarch's next COD isn't going to be in 2 years' time as it should be. Instead, Sledgehammer's COD has basically been scrapped and they are now supporting Treyarch again. So Treyarch have dropped down to this 2-year dev cycle, despite the fact that they're trying to develop a game for the next generation of consoles, first of all, but also that is sort of being developed concurrently with the season of content they've just been doing for Black Ops 4. You think about how much content Black Ops 4 had. Granted, for zombies, it felt a little light in places, and I really do think that they could have done more had they had more budget, funding, time, etc. But looking at Black Ops 4 as a whole, it has been a huge amount of content that's come out across all the different seasons. And so they've been doing all that stuff as normal, but then suddenly in what must have been probably around March this year, they got told, oh yeah, by the way, it's not a 3-year COD anymore, it's a 2-year COD. You've got 1 year left essentially to develop this game, maybe 18 months at an absolute push, and that's it. That's then gold and it has to be out on the shelves and you've got to ship the damn thing. And that's going to put a huge amount of strain on a studio that already this year has clearly been under a huge amount of strain, even with 3 years, and that's evidenced by the fact that at the start of the year, Zombies was in such a state. So we've got ourselves, as a community, into this sort of weird position where we need a break, and in theory, we should be getting a break between now and Black Ops 5, but there's this lingering question of whether or not Treyarch are basically going to fill out the last few maps that they still need to remaster and chuck those bad boys in a DLC5 Zombies Chronicles 2 type deal. Now, my personal stance, as you can probably tell from what I've been saying in this video, is that if they did end up doing a DLC5 and releasing it, let's say, in January, I kind of think it would be a bit disastrous for our break time. I mean, getting even more zombies and then only really having 6 months or something. Well, actually, no, not even that. Having maybe 2 months or 3 months at the most before we started getting teasers for the next zombies and that cycle starts spinning up again. It just wouldn't be enough for all of us to get over that zombies fatigue, and also it wouldn't be enough for Treyarch to develop the damn game that's going to be coming out next year. It's not easy making these maps. I know that a lot of the time it really feels like it's just a case of copy and pasting the code and all that jazz. And sometimes studios will come out and say it's not like that, but really they are finding shortcuts to make it happen. However, in this case, I'm pretty sure it does actually take quite a bit of legwork, time, and effort to remaster all these maps in the ways that they've been doing. And as such, if they were trying to do that with multiple maps for a DLC5 now, I think that it would really hurt Black Ops 5. I think that in order for Treyarch to kind of appease the zombies community, it might be quite tempting for them to give us this surprise thing, especially because Zombies Chronicles was such a wholesome community event. But I really think that right now, the best thing, certainly in my opinion, would be for Treyarch to basically say, alright, Black Ops 4 was a tough year. It was tough. And the zombies community right now is fractured and broken, as Maxis might say. But that doesn't mean that we can't come out swinging in a year's time when Black Ops 5 starts winding up its marketing campaign and then actually releases, and deliver something that blows all of their expectations out of the water on next-gen consoles and basically brings that fire back. I think that that's absolutely something they're capable of, but if they start putting too much on their plate now and start remastering maps and start worrying about content for Black Ops 4, essentially, that's just going to eat into their dev time for Black Ops 5. And another thing that I hear a lot of people saying is, well, they should just add more devs, right? But I've spoken quite a bit with Jason Blundell in the past, not very recently, but I've spoken with him quite a bit in the past about the fact that actually just making more maps, just adding more devs, sometimes slows things down, because you've got to figure out then how to organize all these larger teams to interact with one another, rather than having a small team where everyone else knows where everyone's working on and all that sort of thing. Like, the scaling up of a team is not just a linear thing of add more devs, get more output. There's a lot of managerial stuff that they need to figure out in order to do that effectively, and that's why a lot of the time you see these big sprawling dev teams. Like, you look at Anthem, for example, they basically had teams in 2 different places completely that were trying to connect to each other and interface and figure things out, and in theory, more devs, more support, more development. But in reality, that's not how it works, sadly. So that's not really an option for them, or at least not an easy option for them, and as such, I think that they basically need to just pick their battles and give us something that we can all really celebrate, but just in a couple months' time. A little bit of a break for the zombies community is not the end of the world. I don't think Infinity Ward have abandoned us or let us down or anything like that. I do think that Spec Ops is a bit naff. I think that could have been better, but ultimately, I'm fine with there being a little bit of space between Black Ops 4, the ending of Tag der Toten, everything going black, Stullinger getting stuck with his cockroaches, and then whatever we end up getting in Black Ops 5. So, that probably wraps the video up from me. I'm gonna try not to fall off the edge of this mountain when I start packing my camera away. Once again, massive thank you to Ace of Predator sending me this Helios 300 laptop. Check it out in the description down below, guys. Show them some love. They've been so supportive on me on my little journey here. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to posting 1 or 2 last videos before I go cold turkey, and then I'll see you guys in a few months' time after that, all right? Thanks, guys. You're the best. I really do appreciate all your support. It is, I mean, it's life-changing. It really is. It warms my heart in a really big way. So thank you once again. This is That Duck signing out here. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.